All right, you have found it. It's the world famous weather for Weather Geeks, the Valley's most in depth weather forecast. Video. Good Thursday evening, everyone. Today turned out to be a halfway decent day until the late rain arrived late this afternoon. Let's take a look at today's numbers. It was a little bit of an overachiever temperature wise. I had 59 in the forecast last evening, but we got to 63 at the Youngstown Warren Airport today. A degree warmer than average, a rare warmer than average day today. 85 is the record set in 1985, and then 1 year later on today's date, we had a record low of 25 degrees, and so far today, a hundredth or two of an inch at the airport, but of course, we'll add on to those totals as we head through the evening and into parts of the overnight as well. Our time lapse today from Columbiana shows the sunshine that we had for parts of the morning and even early this afternoon, but then the cloud deck thickened and lowered once again, and it started to yield some raindrops late this afternoon and heading into this evening as well. And I'm recording this video at about 6:45. Here's a look at the local radar at that point. What you see is what you get. Light rain, drizzle. This is an intermittent windshield wiper kind of a rain for most of the area this evening. This is never going to be all that heavy overnight tonight. And this is all associated with an area of low pressure, which is spinning to our south and west. That low pressure system is what's responsible for the wet weather, not only here locally, but across a good chunk of Pennsylvania and down towards the nation's capital and into the deep south as well, where there's actually been a severe weather component to this once again today. This has been a multi-day severe weather outbreak across parts of the deep south, and today it's been focused across parts of Georgia, extreme southern Alabama, and there's still a little sliver of a tornado watch out for the panhandle of Florida this evening, also a severe thunderstorm watch up into parts of Alabama. Back here at home, again, light rain, drizzle for a good chunk of the evening. Now, as we head through the overnight tonight, this will try to taper off as we head towards daybreak. There might still be some spits of drizzle and sprinkles around for the first hour or so of daylight on Friday, but I do think that Friday is going to turn out to be a pretty decent day once again, with an increase in sunshine for the midday hours into the afternoon. And much like today, temperatures should recover into the lower 60s. All right, let's talk about our weekend forecast. Now, we're into the time of the year where the grass is growing, and we've had some wet weather recently. Maybe your grass does need to be cut this weekend. If you want to do anything else involving the outdoors, you're in pretty good shape Saturday morning and probably the first half of Saturday afternoon as well. I think those rain chances will increase as we head through the second half of Saturday afternoon and especially into Saturday evening as this low pressure system moves up the Ohio River Valley. This low pressure system is going to strengthen quite a bit, and that's going to start cranking up the wind here locally as we head through Saturday night. This becomes a really wound up low pressure system down near Charleston up towards Huntington and into Parkersburg, Marietta. And on the north side where we are, we're going to have a northerly component to the wind on Sunday. This is just going to be a gnarly day Sunday. Temperatures holding in the 40s, gusty wind, and periods of rain. Not the kind of day where you want to try to accomplish anything outdoors. Now, our rainfall this evening, pretty modest, of course, probably under a quarter of an inch in most spots. I'm expecting more substantial rainfall this weekend. The three medium range models here, the GFS, the European model, kind of the European kind of version of our GFS model, if you will. And then the blue line is the GFS Ensemble. If you're new to this idea of ensemble forecasting, that's where we take a model, tweak its initial conditions that are kind of baked into the model a bunch of times, and then keep rerunning the model. This accounts for inherent errors in the initialization of modeling. We're never going to be able to sample the atmosphere perfectly. We're not going to be able to model the atmosphere perfectly. So if you have a lot of simulations with just subtle tweaks to that parent model, you can kind of see how things play out and get kind of a range of outcomes. That's what an ensemble model is. You'll hear me mention that occasionally on this video. Anyway, that's the blue line, and generally an inch to inch and a half does seem pretty likely out of this Saturday, late in the day, and into Saturday night and Sunday. And I mentioned the wind. It's going to be noticeable on Sunday, gusting as high as 30 to 40, maybe 40s pushing it, maybe 30 to 35 Sunday afternoon. Just a raw, chilly last Sunday of April. All right, if you've been watching this video and following my posts on social media, we're not expecting a big pattern change late in April and early in May. Temperature-wise, what about precipitation? It's a pretty unsettled weekend forecast, and you see some greens in the eastern U.S. here in the 6 to 10 day outlook showing increased odds for above average precipitation as we roll into the month of May. Wanted to show you this evening's run of the long-range European model. We call these the European weeklies, and these go out 46 days, this set of modeling, and just like with any set of modeling, you got to take it with a pretty big grain of salt as we get farther and farther out into time, but it is interesting to look at twice a week to see what is traditionally thought of as the most reliable set of medium and long range modeling, seeing what it shows as we go into May. And you see this cool pattern in the eastern U.S., the warmth, the oranges and reds, out in the Rockies, into the West Coast. It's going to be a real hot stretch of weather early in the season for places such as Phoenix, Salt Lake City, Vegas, out towards Albuquerque as well. And for us, again, no large-scale pattern changes here during the first week to 10 days of May. Now, of course, our averages are rising quickly, and so a cool day by May 10th is 65 degrees. But still, this is not kind of pattern that's going to give us some early May upper 70s and lower 80s, aside from maybe a random day here and there. But generally, that's the exception. The rule will be a pretty cool pattern through the first probably week to 10 days of May, and then beyond that, we kind of get into fantasy land a little bit. There's not much of a strong signal shown on the modeling as we go deeper into May. So, not too many changes in the long-range thinking on this evening's edition of Weather for Weather Geeks. We'll, of course, keep you updated on the trends as we go into the final stages of meteorological spring in the month of May. In the meantime, thanks for watching tonight. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday evening, and I'll see you back here on Friday.